Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. It has been a while as I have been down recovering from surgery, but we are back. And in the interim, while I've been recovering, I have been working along, doing stuff. And as such, we have the space elevator. And oh, dear God, is it tall. Oh, so let's go take a look at how this elevator functions. And oh my FPS is going down. Sim speed is still good though, surprisingly. But my FPS is starting to fall. To operate the space elevator, you must first disconnect the docking connector and reverse its piston from the charge dock. You then head up into the elevator through any one of the 4 access points and up into the car of your choice, waiting here for the bridge to extend to allow you to walk across. Out of the crew cabin and into the command chair, which I should probably move in the future, but it's quite nice here. You then need to engage the wheels onto the rail, activate the thrusters, or activate the wheels, turn on the propel switch, and then unleash the handbrake, and the elevator starts ascending. You can control the top speed with 6 and 7, increasing or decreasing the top speed of the rotors, or the wheels. I would suggest something around, say, 200 kilometers an hour. Seems to be a decent speed. So I can go in there and set that. You don't want to go too fast, because then it causes this whole thing to wiggle and wobble and have some issues. But you don't want to go too slow, otherwise it takes way too long. But here we are, ascending into the sky, 30 meters a second. It will take us a little while to get up there, but while in transit, because we are not accelerating or decelerating at great speeds, you can walk around and you could interact with your fellow riders. You can take different seats wherever you wish, and you can just enjoy the trip up into space. We have got railings to connect the 4 different cars, so you can just do a complete lap of it, get some exercise as you're waiting the about 10 minutes it takes for this thing to get to height. Oh man, I'm so happy that this thing works. And it works so well. And a really cool part is I'll just jump back into the seat here. If I grab the spectator camera as we are heading up, now 3 kilometers and 400 meters in the air. This is the extent of it. It's a little hard to see, but let's just put this into perspective. There is the car right now, traveling its way up, quite high already. But this is the elevator, all the way up to here. 20 kilometers high, where I'm going to build a station I'm going to nickname Midway, as the atmosphere, well, we're already out of the outside of the atmosphere, the gravity well of the planet extends to approximately 40 kilometers. This is 20-something kilometers up, so we're midway to space. Midway Station. Once you're here a ship with an appropriate amount of ion thrusters, something that could, say, fly on the moon, can land at the station. And then be brought down to the planet. No atmospherics, no hydrogen involved. You can simply run on ions. From planet to space to landing on the moon, it can be entirely with ion thrusters. As we dive back down here, we can see the elevator car still working its way up. And if you look, there is actually the shadow of the elevator and the shadow of the car as it is going up. You can take a look, you can just barely see. There's the shadow of the car there. There is the car just barely able to see there behind the sun as it is rising. And this giant shadow extends and extends and extends until it essentially breaks the game's renderer, and that's it. You can actually see the top of it right here. You can see the construction machine that I left up there. So that is 20 kilometers of space. Look at the shadow of this. Look how far away that terrain is, and that's where the shadow is. And then you can fly back along here. We can find where that car is as it is moving its way up. Oh, there's the car. As it is going along ever so smoothly, climbing the elevator. No issues at all. And I'm thinking what I want to do is along this ridgeline, all along here, and along this ridgeline surrounding this area, I want to set up statues of essentially like dawn, midday, and dusk, and use this ladder's shadow as a giant sundial. Wouldn't that be cool? But oh my god. And then we can come up into the sky here and arrive at the midway point. As what are we? 11 kilometers up. We're more than halfway. It does take a while to get up there, yes. But you can't rush greatness. And I am actually surprised on how bloody stable this thing is. I mean, there's a little bit of clangy sounds. Like it sounds like it's bouncing around a little bit. But surprisingly, we're getting 120 FPS with one simulation speed. How? I do not know. Of course, that is because we are essentially out of the render range of the entire base. But it's working so well. Like, how? Why is this working so well? Clang, I have done everything to tempt you into my world. And, oh god, I almost walked off my own elevator. I've done everything to tempt you, Clang. Why have you not graced me with your presence in this world? Why is this elevator so stable? I do not understand this reality that I am in. Ah! So today, the elevator is complete. And it is even stable enough to carry something like the size of the jump jack, like a small exploratory or fighter ship, on these platforms here. It simply is a bit slower. Instead of saying, normally this takes around 8 or 9 minutes to get to the top, depending on the weight. But then if you were having a load on it, it may take 10 to 11 to 12 minutes to get to the top. But then going down is all the same speed. It just plummets and it only takes about 3.5 minutes to get down. because, you know, gravity is working on our side at that point. But we keep going up, and we're going to get to eventually our planetary gravity is ooh, little jiggles there, but we seem to be going okay. Let's stop it up, lower the speed limit here, start again. It's always what seems to give me a little bit of jiggles, is if we're going too high in our speed limit. That seems to be fine again. Because you can always take longer to get to the top, but you can't get to the top if you're a ball of exploded debris. There we go. That seems to have calmed things down. We always want to try to keep it around that 30 meters a second. What about 100? 100 is 25 meters a second. It's not bad. And here we are. We have arrived at the top of the elevator. Elevator will detect those little things sticking out to the side and will stop us up. And because we weren't seated, we got chucked off into the air. And we stop at exactly 20 kilometers. It's beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful, this elevator. And here we are, 20 kilometers up, but standing on a grid. So what I had to do, and I'll take the spectator camera to show this off, is these rails coming up here were starting to actually get too large. If they were all four were on one grid, it was actually starting to break. So what I had to do is, you may notice this line here, I had to separate these grids by putting down blocks that would not connect. So similar to how I did it over here, where I separated out the city by putting in a line of edges that wouldn't connect but would make a nice flat driving surface. I did the same thing to the towers, where I sliced them into two pieces and then had it so these two towers are on a grid and these two towers are on a grid, and that way they were able to go much higher, because I was running out of I was literally running out of blocks with that little physical shapes for my grids, and that would not be a good thing. But now that we're all the way up at the top, the next thing I need to do is, we are done with this printer. We don't need this printer anymore, and we'll actually probably cut back some of this, some of these towers down to here, and we're gonna make the station up here off of this conveyor. So we'll probably cut the conveyor back to here, and then we'll make the station out from here on this grid. As that way, if I go up here and I connect this correctly, this is my main Earth base grid with all my utility on it. And we still have plenty of physical shapes on this grid. So we can build the station off of that grid, not connect it to these rails, and the rails can be separate, and it should work. And we'll have all of our power, we'll have all of our industry and everything for the station. So to prep for that, we need to get rid of this printer. And I want to save it. I could just destroy it, but I'd like to save it as prosperity, like just, you know, as something to remember me building this elevator by, and also the fact that who knows? I may grab it, haul it off to Mars or Moon, and build another elevator there. Probably not, but you know what I mean. So I think we're gonna leave the elevator car here. It's got 5 days of power when it's in its parking mode. It only has about 1 day when it's actively climbing. So we should be good to leave it here for a while, and we can go and do a little base jump down the elevator shaft here. I'll just let myself get zeroed out and let myself fall. And we're gonna go get the Khopesh, bring the Khopesh up here by itself, grab that printer piece, lift it up and out of there, and fly it back down and park it more than likely beside the museum, because then I can make some sort of exhibit there of this world's first space elevator, the first one that I built at least, and have it all set up there. And this freefall takes 3.5 minutes. Like, this is ridiculous how big this thing is. So I'll probably be free-falling for a while. I'm just gonna cut to when I've got the Khopesh and I'm back up there and we're hauling that thing back down to the planet. You know, it's kind of weird when you're blasting off from the planet and yet there's a grid right beside you the entire way up. It just feels a little strange. Oh my god. I can't believe I actually built this thing. You know, it took me so long. For the longest time in my recovery, I had just been essentially sitting here, and every so often I would press the button that would cause the printer, which I'm going up to go get right now, to print another section. And I had to leave the game running for like 6 hours a day for like a week. Just checking it every so often, refreshing the blueprints, printing the next section. I think it took like 30-something hours to print this entire thing. Constantly checking the print, just being like, okay, is that right? Okay, good. No, alright, that's good. You know, I'll print the next section. Come back to it 5 minutes later. Alright, oh, the section's done. Press the button again. Oh, I gotta go and redo the blueprints because they ran out of recursions in them. Set them up new again. Alright, go, you know, sort of thing. Oh man, it took way too long. And then here, I can see the top of the elevator. I know that's 20 kilometers up, but I'm only at 13. That thing is 7 kilometers higher than I am. What? It doesn't feel like it is, but I know it is. So weird. This is ridiculous. And I definitely do not want to run into this damn elevator. Oh my god, I would cry so much. That would be a reload event. If I ever screw up and like fly into this elevator, no, you'll never see it. I would just scrap the recording and reload from a previous save. There's no way I'm going to like try to fix this elevator if it ever screws up. God, no. Too much work. Way too much work. Although I am tempted, like series finale kind of stuff, to blow up the base of it and then turn it into a ship and then watch it fall down. That would be glorious. Just have this giant grid timber across the terrain. Okay, we're at 19 kilometers, another kilometer up, probably another kilometer over until we reach this. Good, we're just about the right height. Now we just need to travel to it, because we're a little bit far away from it. Oh man, this feels so weird to fly up to. And we'll activate our brake thrusters as we're coming in to the elevator here. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Now, what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to grab this printer and take it on out of here. So we're going to need one of our landing gear to dock with it. So we're going to very, very carefully come on down. Thankfully there's not much gravity up here, which makes life a little bit easier for maneuvering. And ever so slowly, ever so gently, we're going to grab it. Right on those two blocks there. That seems perfect. Good, good. Okay, those are ready to grab. Now, if I pressed grab right now, I'm more than likely going to have my camera screw up because this is on the height of the elevator grid, so that's not going to work. So make sure that I'm back in first person. Grab. Exit. Okay. And let's head on out to space. We've got it grabbed there. Now what we're going to want to do is disconnect it. What just happened? If the damage did not get to this part of the grid, and it didn't look like it did. Oh man, that clanged. So all of the welders are gone. Okay, I gotta go right the Kopesh here. It can hover that way, but I wanna I wanna right it so it's the right way up at least. Oh, come on, let me through the doorway. Okay, Kopesh. You're okay. You've got plenty of fuel. You hover right there. And... I guess this is, okay, fine. This is just gonna be dismantled then.
Inventory full.
Ah, right. Inventory full. Well, those are gonna fall in from orbit. God damn it. It's fine. This is fine. What we can do... Look out below! So we can put down a build and repair. And thankfully we have connection here. We need large steel tubes, god damn it. And we can get our delete color. We can pick current color. We can go fly mode. Grind before weld. turn it on, and we can start grinding up some of this stuff, including disconnecting that, which should just rest there, hopefully. And print that whole grid red. And now that that is disconnected, it should cut down the rest of this, but we can also just do that. Aha! Alright. Cut these off here. Or I can just manually cut them off as well. There goes my big ideas of putting this thing down in the museum, and then all of a sudden it just frickin' explodes. Explosions at 20 kilometers high. Tis not fun. I don't want some of this stuff to go and fall. It's gonna be so annoying. There we go. I wonder, can I change this grid into a station temporarily? I can. Alright, now it won't fall. Easy. Easy. These materials through here. Oh, there we go. And, I guess let this build and repair system do its work. As it is, grinding stuff away. Although I do want to make sure that it doesn't interfere with the, elevator down there at all. So we'll just bring that up. So it's not going to touch the elevator car in any circumstance. Even if it sees something there it would like to cut down. Silly explosions. Okay, Kopash, I guess we can take you back to base. Because there's no point in you being up here anymore. You were going to be a use, but the thing decided to explode. Oh, I know what I can do. Let's race the elevator car back down. Because I'm going to need to get it... need to get back up here anyway after I take this thing down. So I might as well use the elevator car to do it. Let's see. Here's my control panel. There it goes. And quickly get into the Kopash. And I have saved recently, thankfully. So if this goes horribly wrong, it'll be fine. We'll start our descent. And we're gonna try to catch up with that falling car there. Although I doubt that we can. Because remember, that thing is free falling down. As the top there gets all cleaned up by the build and repair. Oh yeah, it is actually... it's pulling away from me, I believe. Like if I get into spectator camera here, you can see the Kopash trying its darndest to catch up. And here's this thing free falling its way through the atmosphere with the rails freaking smoking from the wheels as it's fallen down. But this is completely fine for it. There's no issues with this, with the wheels smoking like this. here as we're approaching the bottom, the elevator should automatically recognize that it has reached the bottom and should start to slow itself down and come into a nice gentle dock as I can start to pull up with the Khopesh and bleed off some of this speed that is coming down with it. Yeah, you can see it there. It is just going in for a nice slow docking maneuver. Ever so slowly sliding into the station for it and arrive back on the planet. Donk. Right there. Elevator's back. Oh, so excellent. Ooh, actually coming down here a little hot. Come on. Don't hit the ground too hard, Mr. Khopesh. Remember the last time you landed over here, you put a giant frickin' hole in my runway. Let's not do that again. Let's land down here nicely. And kerthunk. Rear has engaged, front has engaged. Dampeners off. First person to lock. And parked. Good Khopesh. Back in its spot. And for me, fly up to the elevator and ride it back up again. So, we have to think about what we want to do at this space elevator, excuse me, midway station. As we start heading back up. Oh, oh, that looks beautiful. Heading off into space. The elevator is functional. Yes. So what I'm thinking is for midway station, I want a lounge that is going to be called the Stratospheric Lounge or the Stratosphere Lounge, something along those lines. We're going to want docking ports for various ships that are going from Earth base to the moon base. And I want to set up a drone system from Midway to the asteroid base. So essentially, it'll be either with PAMs or with just the built-in drone stuff. It will go and you will climb into the ship as it is docked in, say, Midway Station. You will press a button which will say go to, like above the button will say go to this base. You hit it and the ship will automatically fly to, say, asteroid base and dock. And then after a certain amount of seconds sitting there docked, it will then fly back. So it won't be there when you get off and you go into your stuff at asteroid base. However, there would also be one at asteroid base that would be always available at asteroid base to fly you to Midway. So eventually, the hope is that without a ship available, with just your engineer, you could, from the surface of Earth, walk to this elevator, walk onto the elevator, press a button, get to Midway, walk to this taxi system, sit down, press a button, get flown to asteroid, and then walk into asteroid with artificial gravity, and then be on asteroid. And then from asteroid, possibly have a drone that takes you down to, say, the surface of the moon. So you should be able to, once I've set up this infrastructure, go from walking on the Earth to walking on the moon without taking direct control of any ship. It is entirely elevator and taxi system, which would be so cool. And I think that's what we're going to have to do. Now, it's going to take me a while to get into space here, and we've sort of played around this episode, just looking at the elevator, trying to do some stuff to it. Not very exciting, but I'm just getting back from my surgery. But it is complete. Dear God, is it finally complete. And next episode, we're going to flesh out this station. I'm going to have a sort of a skeleton of what I think it's going to look like done. And then we'll build it out. And the episode after that, let's try setting up this taxi system from Midway to asteroid base. So that'll involve probably an episode of designing what the taxi is going to look like, an episode of setting up waypoints and doing all of the remote control stuff, and then, yeah, getting it all good. Sorry for the delay in Space Engineers episodes, but I am back. I am back in the game, and we're building some really cool stuff. There will be more very shortly. Thanks for watching. Good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.